Well, every single time we talk about a car with less than stellar fuel consumption ratings, we always say, you guys, it's all about smiles per gallon. But what if I told you with the Tucson N-Line Hybrid, you can get smiles and miles per gallon?
I think that sounds pretty good.
And Charlotte, do you know why that is?
Why?
So most people connotate the word hybrid and fun to drive, sporty. They're usually not together, unless you're talking about maybe something like the Porsche 918. Now this is a hybrid that still gives you a punch of power and a sporty look. Shall we dive right in? Full walkthrough?
I dare say we should.
All right. And Charlotte, what's so special about these walkthroughs?
So these walkthroughs, these videos are done completely live, as you guys can probably tell.
Yep.
Meaning there's no script, it's just us, it's you guys, and an iPhone and a struggling gimbal.
And the car.
And the car. The car is there as well. So what we're going to do is in today's video, we're giving you guys a full and complete breakdown of the exterior of this vehicle, the interior, the tech, the safety, the powertrain. If there's anything that you want to know about it, we want to share it with you. So feel free to use the live chat to put all of your questions in there. And we do have a dedicated Q&A at the end of the walkthrough. And if you're watching this after it's already posted, first of all, like this video, subscribe to the Kia Hyundai channel, and if you still have questions, leave a comment down below.
All right, let's get into it. So we're going to start off with an exterior walkthrough of the vehicle and also talk about the powertrain, what makes a hybrid so special, and what, of course, that fuel consumption is going to be. Like I said, this vehicle gives you more power, but not less fuel efficiency. In fact, it's better fuel efficiency. If you are browsing the Hyundai Tucson lineup, you'll notice that there's two regular hybrid powertrains. One of them is regular hybrid trim levels, I should say. One of them is going to be the N-Line, which is definitely more in tune for someone who appreciates a sporty appeal on their vehicle. You'll notice on the front end, we have a lot of dark accents, and the most notable one is going to be your Hyundai badge up at the front and that blacked out dark chrome grille. I shouldn't say blacked out because it's certainly still chrome, but it definitely has that darker look to it, and it still has beautiful shine. It's the best of both worlds, really. Your headlamp unit is going to be full LED, so that's going to be for your main headlamps, the LED daytime running lights. Everything on this vehicle is going to be bright, it's going to be shining, and it's going to be sharp. We'll take a look at our wall over there. You guys can see some of the cutoff. And of course, you do have automated or intelligent high beam assist too. So if you're someone that lives in a rural area, you'll really appreciate the fact that this vehicle is smart enough to turn on and off its high beams, making sure you're not blinding anybody with these bright lights. A couple other things that make the N-Line special in the Tucson lineup is the fact that a lot of elements are going to be gloss black or blacked out on this car. So you'll notice this piece along your front bumper. It's almost more of a gunmetal finish, so not a true blackout, but then right underneath we're greeted with gloss black, and then the lower lip is also going to be gloss black. On the right-hand side, you'll see an N-Line badge. Do you see it, Char?
I was blinded there for a second, but now we're good.
There we go. So N-Line is kind of hidden in the daytime running light, and fun thing about these daytime running lights, when the car is off, they're completely hidden and they look like elements of the grille. It has a mirrored look to it, and it's really, really cool, especially seeing this car wake up. The main headlamp unit, like I said, full LED as well. It's not a projector style, so it's just a reflector type, but still super functional, obviously. It's an LED, you're gonna see. It's gonna be no problem there. And like I said, lots of fine detailing that you're just not gonna find on other trim levels of the Tucson. A lot more elements kind of pop out on this car for
Personality.
sure. Yeah, it's a lot more personality, a lot more sporty appeal. It just stands out a lot, especially when you're matching it with an Alice white exterior paint color. Now I'm gonna pop the hood and we'll talk about what really makes this vehicle special. So I think this vehicle is great because number one, obviously you're gonna get way better fuel efficiency. It's rated at 6.7 liters per 100 kilometers combined, which is very, very good for an SUV that's all-wheel drive of the size class. But you're not gonna have to put any special fuel in it. Obviously you don't have to plug it in. It's not a plug-in hybrid, it's just regular fuel. And it's a smaller tank than the other trim levels of the Tucson. So you'll pay less at the gas pump and you'll go a longer distance based off the rating that this vehicle will give you.
So quick question for you guys while Gabby's getting that set up. Do you prefer the option for a plug-in hybrid, a hybrid electric, which is what we have here, or just straight regular gas?
And I'm gonna say you guys are probably gonna wanna reconsider your choice. A lot of people are gonna tip towards gas, but I would say a hybrid is definitely worth considering.
They all say hybrid and you're like, no.
Oh,
guys.
Everyone agrees? Okay, good. So under the hood, we have a 1.6 liter turbocharged gasoline direct injection engine, and that is where your gasoline portion of the hybrid mix is gonna come into play. Tied to that, you also have a hybrid electric motor, so that's where your hybrid component comes in, or electric component comes in. Together, it's gonna give you a whopping 231 horsepower, and 258 pound-feet of torque. So together, that is quite the increase from the traditional regular gas model. If you want to know the specs for the gas model, well, it's a 2.5-liter straight gasoline engine with 187 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. So you're already in the 200 range. 231 horse is a pretty big upgrade from 287. Or 187, sorry. All right, now when it comes to transmission, it's a 6-speed hybrid automatic transmission, very smooth shifting, and you do have dedicated drive modes in this vehicle. So between eco mode, sport mode, it's really gonna change the way the vehicle operates. If you do have a heavier foot, you might love sport mode because it's gonna give you that enhanced throttle response and a little bit tighter steering, but it's still gonna be fuel sensitive. It's going to consume not a lot of fuel, and it's going to be your traditional hybrid.
Heavy foot, light wallet.
There you go, heavy foot, light wallet. Okay, now for your wheels, we get these 19-inch alloys. They are exclusive to the N-Line trim. You'll notice we got our N badging right in the center cap. And the wheel itself is going to have a matte black look to it, and they still have the machine finish design as well too. You also get a Michelin tire. That's going to be your all seasons that come with the vehicle stock. We always recommend putting on snow tires as well too because, again, snow tires are actually going to help you stop on the ice. All-wheel drive is great, it gets you going, but it doesn't really do anything to help you stop or slow down if you are on icy or snowy roads. Sorry, got a little sidetracked. Now, when it comes to the wheel arches of the vehicle, they are body color. So in this case, we got our Atlas white. You do have a little bit of flare elements and another fender flare that says NLine right on the side. I love how the black really pops and really contrasts with the white exterior. And that also translates to our mirrors. So piano black mirrors with a turn signal indicator and then blind spot detection on this trim level. Blind spot detection is a feature that I know a lot of you guys love. It's not exactly something that's new, but Kia and Hyundai do take it a couple levels up because not only will it let you know if there's a car in your blind spot, but it has the capability of improvising and reducing the impact of a collision if there is a car in your blind spot and you're trying to switch over. So it'll revert you back into your originating lane. Let's do a little side talk for a second and talk about some of the other safety functions on this car. I realized I didn't show you when we were looking at the front end, so let's quickly pan back. There is a radar plate right in the very center.
No, it's not.
No, sorry, it's off-centered. It's usually in the center. So it's off to the right on this vehicle, but it's still gonna have the same use as our vehicles that have it in the very center.
Yeah, it will.
Now this radar plate's gonna monitor the distance of the car ahead of you and sense if there's any sort of sudden change. So if the vehicle ahead of you slams on the brakes, someone cuts in front of you, and there's a risk of a collision and you're not reacting as a driver, the vehicle will alert you, and if you still don't react, it can brake for you to mitigate said collision. It's very smart, and you also have adaptive cruise control that's navigation-based, so this vehicle will slow you down and bring you right back up to speed if you hit stop and go traffic, and you can set the following distance based off your comfort level and the intensity at which your vehicle re-accelerates. So it's pretty customizable, it's a lot of fun to use, and it's very convenient, really good for long distance travels. All right, let's take a look at the windshield real quick. You do have rain sensing wipers on this car and a camera located right in the very center that's gonna monitor the lanes ahead of you, making sure you're centered and also giving you gentle correction to make sure you're following the lanes ahead. You also have digital key to touch, which is essentially allowing you to use your phone to unlock, start, and drive your car, or you can just use traditional proximity entry by having the key somewhere on your person where you can just walk up, put your hand behind the handle, the car will unlock for you when you're done. You'll put your finger on the groove there, and it will lock for you. For your roof rails, they are piano black, and that matches perfectly with your window pillars. Everything, accent-wise, is again gonna have a darked out look on this car, and I think it's great. Almost fell in the grate. Whoa. No more great talk.
Workplace hazards.
All right, I'm just gonna go around right now. Here's something, again, that's exclusive to the N-Line. You do have this exclusive spoiler. So it does house your rear wiper, which I'm always concerned about. We like to see that. No ice or anything's gonna get stuck on there. And you do have these little fins right up above. It's all about aerodynamics, baby. Or maybe it's more about aesthetics, I'm not sure.
Lemon Gorilla asks, will it also lock when you just walk away from it?
No, it does not do that. But this vehicle does have Blue Link, which is Hyundai's app on the phone. You can lock your vehicle from your phone if you want to do that. After 2 minutes, it gives you a push notification letting you know if you've left your vehicle unlocked. You can just tap it to lock it again. I do that every single day. Now, right over here, our Hyundai badge has been moved into the actual glass portion of your rear window. Pretty cool. It looks like it's a glow-in-the-dark type material, but it's not. It'd be really cool if it was, though. Your taillights are full LED, and they expand all the way across the rear end of the vehicle, and you'll notice we have a pretty chunky-looking rear bumper on this car. It's an N-Line exclusive, but I will say, regardless of the trim level, the 2025 Tucson just has a larger rear bumper in general. You're gonna have a single-sided twin-tip exhaust, very cool, and a little bit more of a sporty diffuser along the bottom of the vehicle too. You'll see it's not completely black, it's more of that gunmetal finish that we see on some of the accents up at the front. You also get great convenience functions. Sorry, I lost my words there for a second. Like a smart power lift gate, it's proximity based, so you can just walk right up to it, or you can trigger it by using your remote up at the front or by actually touching the button right over there. Right now we have our floorboard lowered because it's actually multi-level. Let's take this out of the way. You'll notice we do have a tire mobility kit underneath with a little bit of storage in your tow hooks, but you can pull this out, lift it up, and have it sit on its higher rail if you'd like a more flush floor. So there you can see there's no groove or divot, there's no down, it's just completely flush. Now, this is, of course, a 5-seater vehicle. It does have the capability of knocking the rear seats down thanks to these latches in the cargo area. To bring them back up, though, you do have to open up the passenger doors in the rear. Each seat does have car seat tethers, and we do have indents on the sidewall where you can put a privacy screen if you choose to do so. There's a bunch of different aftermarket accessories for this vehicle that will totally fit. This car is capable of towing up to 2,000 pounds, so it has a 2,000 pounds towing capacity rating, and that's, of course, with proper brakes. Let's close this. And then speaking of brakes, you're going to have ventilated disc brakes up at the front with solid disc brakes in the rear, and your rear suspension is going to be a multi-link rear. A couple more things I want to point out about this car. I did mention that it's all-wheel drive, but here in Canada, our Kia and Hyundais with all-wheel drive usually take it up a step further, especially in our SUVs, because they also incorporate something called terrain modes. So we get snow, mud, and sand over here. Each one is going to change the torque split depending on the condition, and some of them will even allow a little bit more wheel spin to get you out of whatever situation you put your vehicle in. Now, this vehicle is already going to be very, very smart in its all-wheel drive system. If it's a sunny day and you're driving on regular paved roads, it's going to be primarily front-wheel drive to give you the best fuel consumption. However, if you turn onto a gravelly road or something with a little bit less traction, it will adjust itself as needed, so you don't have to put in those terrain modes unless you know you're going to be in some sort of sticky situation or you find yourself there. All right, shall we take a look inside?
I dare say we shall.
There's one more thing I might point out.
Cool.
I think I mentioned this earlier, but this vehicle does have a smaller gas tank than the gas counterpart. So it's still regular fuel. You don't need anything fancy, and you don't need to plug it in. But it's a 52-liter tank instead of a 54-liter tank. And you guessed it, you go further with less fuel on this car.
Woo!
So right now, it's got a full tank, and it's over 700 kilometers of range. Charlotte, you drove a Sportage, which is the Kia equivalent of this car, and you drove a non-hybrid. Do you remember how much distance to empty you got on a full tank on your car?
I'd probably get around the 550.
Okay.
I'm a predominantly city driver. Yeah, I could get closer to 600 depending on my driving habits.
Yeah, and this vehicle is brand new from factory, so it hasn't actually been driven in a real-world situation. If you're someone who does a lot of highway commuting, obviously that's going to be the most efficient type of driving because you're not stopping and going, stopping and going. This vehicle will probably get you a lot better than what we have it rated at right now. And a cool thing about our hybrids is at low speeds, or think idles, a majority of the time it's going to be running on EV. So you're not actually going to have any tailpipe emissions, and you're not going to be burning any fuel. So stop and go traffic, hybrids excel in such conditions. We'll really appreciate that. Again, if you are getting this vehicle as a commuter or something you're driving a lot. All right, now let's take a look inside.
All right. So as we hop inside, as Gabby mentioned, we do have that handy indent.
The screen's so dark.
I know. So it is going to be proximity. So if you do tap that button, you can lock and unlock the vehicle, although it does not automatically unlock or lock as you approach or leave. So I saw a question about that. Now let's take a look at the interior of the N-Line. Something I think that this vehicle does really well is taking those fun, sporty accents and translating that personality to something still fun on the interior. So you'll notice we see a lot more dark elements, but we're going to see contrast red stitching. We have a mix of leather, we have a mix of fabric. All of it works really well together, and with that piano black too. Even our door handles are that darker gunmetal chrome. Now you'll notice that we have our mirror controls. They are electronically controlled. And then for our front two windows, there are one touch with obstacle detection with regular automatic windows for those who may be in the rear. Manual child locks, but you do have a button to electronically lock all of your windows. And down below, you'll notice we have a bottle holder with 1 of 8 speakers, and this is a premium sound system, which is definitely a lot of fun in this vehicle. So premium sound, Bose, one of my favorites. Now in this vehicle, we'll take a look at the door sills and then the seats, but you'll notice that we do have some premium door sills, and then also we're going to get some aluminum detailing on our pedals, so they are more of a sport style pedal for the gas and for the brake, not the dead pedal.
No
That
dead
is
pedal at all.
carpet. I was gonna say, it is carpet.
Don't mind the salt, by the way, you guys.
Yeah, tis the season, unfortunately.
It's rough out here. Look at all the ice.
Yeah. Womp, womp, womp. All right, so over here you'll notice that we have our regular 6-way power adjustable. So you already saw me bringing it forward and back, but I can also adjust the height and of course the backrest. And over here you'll notice that I have a 2-way lumbar support. So very nice. It's going to give you a comfortable feeling, especially since it does look a little bit more sporty. It's still going to give you that little bit of feeling like it's holding you in a little bit more. Now, these seats, and Gabby will give a better view of them as we come around, but they're a combination of leather and suede, and they have the N badging in the center with that contrast red stitching. Now, I actually think that leather and suede is the perfect combination.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the leather is not going to get as hot or cold depending on the external temperature, but it's also going to heat up a little bit.
Suede.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Thank you. The suede. You complete me. But it is going to heat up a little bit quicker than the regular leather would when you're using your heated seats. Which, of course, these seats are heated. Don't worry. All right, do you want to come around?
For sure. I saw a pretty cool question from Trivia. Can you do a feature on the hybrid auto, non-dual clutch gearboxes like on this car? No reverse gear, for example, and no electric power, only in first gear. And sorry, the electric power is only in first gear. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool, actually. I think our hybrid automatic is a fairly new system, because before it used to always be a dual clutch in our hybrids. And it's pretty awesome. I really do like it.
Now, I realize there are a couple elements that I forgot to show on this side, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what they are. But over on my side, quickly accessible, we're going to have our brightness adjuster, tailgate control for the interior, electronic parking brake, our traction control, and a 12-volt battery reset, which I'm sure we're probably going to end up demoing in this. Essentially, what your 12-volt battery reset is going to do is it's going to provide power from your high voltage battery to your 12-volt battery. The way I like to describe it, it's almost like giving it a little bit of a boost, and that is handy, especially if the 12-volt battery does drain, especially because this vehicle has hardly been driven, and we're running it in accessory mode, and the 12-volt is powering all of this right now. So stay tuned to see if we demo that, but it's a hybrid, so we probably will. All right, let's talk about what I've got directly in front of me. We have our steering wheel, a little bit of a sportier design with the perforated leather with the red stitching and end badging down at the bottom. We have a dark H in Morse code in the center for Hyundai, of course, and then again, more darker elements when it comes to the split between our driving controls and also our media controls. So from here, directly in front of me, you'll notice our digital instrument cluster, and I can use this notes icon to go and switch between all of the different options that I may get. So from here, you can access things like the vehicle's trip computer to see how it responds to you as a driver. Also things like the engine temperature, the tire pressure, and the power distribution. So when is it operating front-wheel drive versus when it's operating in all-wheel drive. Also, you'll notice that we're going to have a power band here. So this is going to show you when you're basically using and putting some power back into your battery. So very cool to see. And this is 12.3 inches, so quite large. Now, this one, I must say, is going to be the star of the show. This is going to be our multimedia info screen. So from here, you'll notice we have our exclusive hybrid button. And now this is another 12.3-inch screen. It's our new software, and this does have the capacity for over-the-air updates. Now, I want to dip into our hybrid screen really quick because this is going to give you a good idea of when you're using power and from where. When is the motor kicking in? When are you pulling from the battery? When are you just operating with the engine or any combination that the vehicle may see fit? It's also going to give you a breakdown of your fuel economy and the motor use. Now, from here, you can also swipe. And all of this is customizable too, so you can actually move these widgets over to give it any sort of customization that you may want. You can also drop down if you want some further customization for some quick controls. Now, you probably noticed it when I had the vehicle or when I had the screen up, but as we pop into vehicle, we'll head into driver's assistance for right now. But from here, you'll be able to access and adjust all of those safety features that Gabby mentioned. You can also go and customize your drive modes with the added baby mode. With hybrid and plug-in hybrid vehicles is you get a lot of instant torque as you're coming out of an acceleration. So if you have someone who may be strapped into the back seat, perhaps rear facing, this is basically designed to even that out. That way it may not be such a jarring change. Great or gimmick, that's up for you guys to decide. We have done a video on it if you want to check that out too.
They want an exhaust note of this car.
Of this car. We turn it on, it's in EV mode.
I will tell you, our hybrids don't exactly have the most notable exhaust.
We'll have to play like a YouTube video in the background.
It just sounds like regular.
Yeah.
whatever you'd imagine an SUV to sound like that isn't something crazy.
We do have ambient lighting in this trim. You can see it in the start of our upstairs glove box area and then also in the center console. Really love the contrast of ambient lighting, especially when you have it paired with a premium sound system. I just think it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun, a lot of fun. As we move down, I love this setup. It's very open, and then you have the mix of real buttons and dials with the integrated search function. So if you ever want to find a feature, say ambient lighting or context or media or anything along those lines, you can actually press this and type it in, and you're going to be able to find that. Really helps with the learning curve if this is your first new vehicle in a while and you're still getting used to some of the technology that it may have, especially with hybrids. Hybrids have a lot of tech, so don't be worried. Of course, if you watch our videos, you're already going to know everything about it. You're going to be an expert by the time you show up to get your car. All right, down below, dedicated screen for our HVAC controls, dual zone climate control. From here, we also have the option for our heated seats and heated steering wheel, front and rear defrost, and the driver only button, which is going to focus the climate control only for the driver because this is still a hybrid electric vehicle and it's still going to be using that power. So very much it focuses it that way. Nice to see. We also do utilize a PTC heater, so very efficient form of heating for the cabin. Down below, if you do want to operate with a wired connection, because we do have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you can use this USB-C. We have another USB-C and a 12-volt and more of that ambient lighting down below. Tons of space here because we moved the shifter to be a column-mounted shift-by-wire. So now it's here. You're going to twist this and press down for park. And then we also have our push-to-start button framed in some red, which looks really good. A little bit more of that sporty accent. In the center of this area, I guess, you're going to have your button to switch between your drive and terrain modes, and then this toggle is going to allow you to actually cycle between them. I'm going to press that.
Oh, hold on.
Tim sighting.
Tim sighting. Tim spotted in the loose.
Just turned the light on.
Thank you.
Let there be
Lights
lights.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
That's his contribution to the dealership.
One thing I want to point out when it comes to your drive mode is when you actually put the vehicle into sport mode, instead of having that power band, it's going to switch to a traditional tachometer. So very cool to see. Very cool. You also
do a backflip, Tim. He's gone.
He's gone. He won't. He's probably, I wonder if he's watching this though. We do have auto hold, downhill braking assist, and then also your rear view camera, which will come up as the vehicle is spun to reverse. And you're also going to have a top-down view and a wide view. ECM mirror with the capacity for HomeLink up top. And then also you'll notice we have a dark cloth headliner and a panoramic sunroof. I don't know about you guys, but it just keeps going and going and going. It does open up to about the halfway point, but still gives lots of room, lots of usability. I love a glass roof, especially with a dark headliner. It brings more light into the cabin. I realized I didn't finish talking about what I have right here, so let's circle back. Wireless phone charger, 2 cup holders, egg-style key fob with integrated remote start, and also the option to open up the hatch. And then in the center, huge amount, very deep amount of covered storage. Do you want to show the glove box?
Sure. All right, upstairs glove box, Charlotte calls it, and then
Downstairs glove box.
private glove box. Both illuminated. Hold on. Both illuminated. This one's got ambient lights.
This was regular lights.
This one's got LEDs. It's worth noting though that every light in this car is an LED. Very bright. Yeehaw. All right. I didn't get to show the seat before I hopped in.
Oh yeah.
That's what it looks like. So nice on the upper backrest and suede inserts.
Tell me about your passenger seat.
It's manual.
What a surprise.
You get manual backrest adjustment. There's no height adjustment, unfortunately, but you can, of course, bring it closer or further from the dash. So you can still maneuver it. And then, of course, all the design elements are repeated on the door itself. I saw a question I quickly want to answer about the liftgate, and they asked if all hybrids have the proximity liftgate. So just about all of our vehicles that have a power lift also have the proximity function. Even some of our sedans that don't have a power lift have proximity function. But it's your best bet that if your car automatically opens the tailgate, it's got the proximity function too. You just have to go through the head unit to turn it on or disable it.
And we've done a video on that.
We have
We've
recently.
done a video on everything, so if you want to go and learn more about any of the features, check out our tips and trick playlist. We have playlists on every vehicle and also tips and tricks. So this is the back seat of the Tucson, obviously. Here it is. I will note, we're going to have the same suede insert with the leather combo, which I think looks very good. These 2 main seats are going to be heated, and they actually have 3 levels of heat. So not something you see too often when it comes to a regular second row. You're still going to have items like your bottle holder and your speakers on your door too, and again, bless you, Gabby. And then you'll also notice that these seats, they do have the capacity for a little bit of a recline, because right now this is at a 90-degree angle, and oh my goodness, my voice gave out on me there. Wow. And you know that's not going to be comfortable. So they do have a lever for you to go and adjust the backrest. This one is leaned all the way back. It's a little bit more comfortable for sure. Now let's talk about some amenities that we have back here. We have a drop-down center armrest that is adjustable with 2 cup holders. And then also in the center of the console, you're going to have 2 vents, which is going to give us some good airflow back here, and then also dual USB-Cs at the bottom. We have 2 cargo pockets, which is very nice, and overall a decent amount of headroom, given the fact that we have a sunroof. Usually with the sunroof you lose headroom, but I'd say this is a really nice amount. You also have lights back here and hooks. And here's what the middle seat is going to look like as well. So good amount of foot space, good amount of headroom, I'd say. Very comfortable, very comfortable. The Tucson does comfort very well. All right, questions?
Yeah. Do you want me, I'll give you this and I'll grab the devices.
That would be fantastic. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, it was already on forward-facing camera. Sorry for the jump scare, everybody. Oh gosh, there we go. So the Tucson and the Sportage have a long time been some of my favorite vehicles, so. Okay, let's see what's coming through. Are we all, oh man, are we all settled on the USB-C now? It seems like that will be the standard going forward, very much so. So any of our newer vehicles are being manufactured with USB-C ports, and a lot of that is just tech companies are also changing their charging standard.
I've moved that back.
Oh yeah, sorry girl.
I was so upright. Okay, let's discuss.
Shall we?
Shall we? What do you guys want to know about hybrids, the Tucson Hybrid, the Tucson N-Line, Kia, Hyundai, anything?
You name it, we'll talk about it. Well, maybe.
I might not because I can't open YouTube right now.
So Samarth asked a question. He said the N-Line isn't the top trim, is it? So it's not in the Tucson lineup or for the hybrid lineup. There is the ultimate trim, which is a $5,000 price increase from this one that we have. This one's priced at $43,199, and then plus 5.
So I know this car doesn't have the forward attention warning, but I did see in the menu, at least I thought I saw something about driver warning. What is that exactly? So driver attention warning is a separate function. Essentially, it monitors what you're doing. If you're doing sudden braking, crazy acceleration, if you're veering in and out of your lanes, and after a while, it'll tell you to take a break. There's also another extension of driver attention warning where if it senses the vehicle ahead of you has left, so think at a drive-through or even stop and go traffic, and you didn't do anything, so you haven't moved your car yet, it'll say lead vehicle has departed, or I forget what the exact message that comes up says. But
leading vehicle departure.
Yeah, it says something like that. But
as far as having
turn them off.
as far as having the actual camera monitoring your eyes, no, it does not have that. Okay.
How is the hybrid system unlike the Honda system? I think they work differently, but one is better. So from my understanding, they're both parallel hybrids. I gotta be honest, I'm not a Honda hybrid or even a Honda expert at all. It's not really something I've been too interested in. But from my understanding, the parallel series is going to work very, very similarly. Obviously, the layout of their vehicles is always going to be different. Some of their buttons and drive modes as well, too, I assume are also different. They've had an econ mode for as long as I can remember. I don't know what their brake regen system's like, but I know on this vehicle you can adjust the amount of regen through the paddle shifters on this car when it's in eco mode. I don't know if theirs is automated just based off what you're doing or if you can set amounts to it. But like every manufacturer, hybrid could be a pretty loose term. How they do the layout of their hybrid can vary greatly.
I got the SEL convenience trim last week. This is my first hybrid and I've been a huge fan. For those who've never driven a hybrid before, you'll love it. It's fun watching the battery recharge. Well, congratulations on your new hybrid.
Oh, previously you stated that white is the most popular color. What is the least popular color, and how do you promote a color you personally feel isn't good? So I don't think any of our colors aren't good. It's just a majority of buyers, especially in Canada, they tend to go towards shades.
Yeah.
So grays, blacks, whites. There's some people that come in and they're like, I want
alien green.
I want alien green, and
Caribbean blue.
That's it. No other color option. That's all they want. Bulletin Blair said it's orange. So those are the vehicles we definitely get less of, though. We'll get the odd one, but we majority of the time get allocated gray, whites, and blacks. So it's not really hard to sell color cars. They kind of just, there's a buyer for everything.
Yeah. The only color option for this vehicle is actually red. So ultimate red you can get it in, but other than that, it's black, white, and gray. So
Which
there's
is
only 4
pretty fun.
options. Yeah, so
many
fun.
options.
I know, I love it.
Kia's doing a lot of greens recently. So the K4 has a new shade of green that none of our other cars have called Morning Haze. I personally think it's really cool, but I know Tim hates it. But he also hates green on cars.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
he's a certified green hater. He's a certified green hater in general.
Even British Racing Green, such a classy, beautiful,
color.
like classic car, right? It's a classic car color, I should say. Tim's like, nope. So it's not even a new car color thing. It's just a Tim hates green thing. But you know, so many people love green, and so many people want Morning Haze. So it is.
I think it's fun. I kind of like the colors that are between tones, where depending on the lighting or what the surroundings are, you know, you can either pull a green or a gray or a blue or a gray. I think that's really neat, but that's just me.
Without paying for Kia Connect, is it possible to remote start and have the heat turn on? I've got a 2024 Sportage. So if you remote start your vehicle from the key fob, it's totally free. You can do it for as long as you have your vehicle. There's no subscription on that. But it's going to default your cabin to 22 degrees. Could be 22.5. I don't exactly remember. Unfortunately, you can't trigger things like turn on your heated seats or anything like that. But at least get your cabin to a pretty good temperature and allow your vehicle to run to a more operational temperature too. That way when you do get in and you turn on the heat, it'll be able to warm itself up quicker.
Okay, Odyssey asked an interesting question. Would you choose the Elantra N or the Tucson N-Line, considering the fact that they are both the same price point? Well, they're very, 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 very different vehicles. There is still a difference in price. But also one is more so of a track-ready sedan, whereas it's a hybrid SUV.
I would take the Elantra N because my lifestyle could fit it.
My lifestyle would not suit that, so for that reason I would go for the N-Line.
There you
Tucson.
go. A tie.
But very different vehicles, so it's hard to really put them up against each other when there isn't really a whole lot to compare. Gabby lives her life a quarter mile at a time. Yeah. It's true.
I saw a good question. Now I can't find it.
Adele said, not sure if Hyundai has a similar app. They do. It's Hyundai Blue Link. This vehicle is equipped with it.
How much can this SUV tow? 2,000 pounds. Oh my gosh, my nose. Life, not mine. Gabby lives her mile a quarter mile at a time. Yes.
I just read that.
I know, but I read it the way he actually wrote it.
Oh.
Gabby lives her mile a quarter mile at a time.
Okay.
If you're going from Kia to a Hyundai, do you still get a loyalty bonus / rebate? No. So it only works from Kia to Kia or Hyundai to Hyundai. But great question, though.
I picked up my N-Line 2 weeks ago and I love it. Thanks for helping me decide. Quick question, how do you keep the auto regen on after you shut off the vehicle?
You can't. So because of regulations, when vehicles are tested, it has to default in a 0 position. So we get the same question with EVs too, and yeah, it can't default to have auto regen on. Is fuel consumption higher during winter times? Absolutely it is, yeah. Funny enough though, it's a big reason why a lot of people experience such drastic range loss with EVs during the winter is because, of course, they're using the heat. They're trying to warm up the car. And it's way more efficient for a gas vehicle or a hybrid vehicle to heat up a cabin because you have heat coming from the internal combustion that's happening. Yeah. There's tiny explosions happening under the hood on a gas vehicle or any vehicle that has some sort of actual internal combustion engine. So it's way more efficient for those vehicles to heat up the cabin and you don't experience giant range losses. But there is still a little bit of range loss. With EVs, it's way more efficient for them to cool down a cabin. So that's why things like heat pumps really, really help out. Heat pumps are kind of like an air conditioner, but in reverse for EVs. When are you going to launch this car in India? So we can't do that.
We do not do that.
We just work for a dealership in Brantford. I unfortunately don't have the answer for that, but if you contact your local dealer, they might have some sort of info. Okay. anything else?
I think that's it. I think we're just getting into a little bit of chitter chatter.
Yeah.
All right.
Gabby said 2,000 pounds and raised 4 fingers. There's 4 figures in that.
Yeah. Each finger is
Represents a
500
number.
pounds.
2, 0, 0, 0. I just showed 5.
All right.
I'm ending this live stream.
Oh my goodness.
I don't appreciate